Hi, and welcome to summer school equine science class. And I would like to go over the assignments with you. This is really for the remote learning packet. Just be sure that you always put your name and your student ID on the packet, and that way, whenever you turn it in, you'll have your assignment turned in. Week one is really about why a horse's hooves are really important. I would like for you to think about that after maybe you could do the first paragraph after you read about a horse disease, a hoof disease. Um, we want you to write a short paragraph about why you believe that horses' hoof care is really important as a horse owner. And then you're going to look at a horse disease, which is a hoof abscess article. You're going to read that and then you're going to answer the 5 questions that are here. It's pretty easy. Explain the problem of the disease or what happens. And so if you read the article, it tells you about that. And then the next question is how is it transmitted, or like how do they get it? So why does a horse get this um, disease, the hoof abscesses? What is the recommended treatment of it? And then how can you prevent it? And it should tell you those answers here. And if not, then maybe you could read and kind of think, they could probably, most things can be prevented with things being, your stables being clean, um, and just good health care. You have the horse's hooves taken care of ever so often. It says cite their resource. Well, the resource is here and it tells you exactly where it came from. So I'm just asking you to think about that and write it. So read all of this and then go back and answer the questions. Okay. I don't need that long of an explanation. I mean, I gave you the article. I want you to read it and summarize it. Week two of summer school equine science class, we're going to read how to estimate your horse's age by looking at his teeth. So you read the article here, and there are a few questions. Okay. Question one was like, what is the main point of you reading this article? And it says that the number two, what is something that you learned from this? I'm looking for you to write complete sentences here, and so is the person that's going to be grading this. They're looking for a complete sentence. What's the main point? Okay, you can probably get that from the title. What is something that you learned? Again, needs to be in a complete sentence. What is one question that you still have after reading this? Okay. Why do you feel that it's important for a horse's owner to know the age of their horse? So, probably reading through there, you'll probably understand. If you're thinking about a horse, you're and its age, you're probably thinking about, what kind of activities can you do with that age of a horse? What kind of feed should you feed that horse? That's kind of what we're looking for in that answer. But there's more, so you need to find out and read more. Looking at abnormal teeth conditions, that's the next little section there. Why is it important for you as a potential horse buyer? So now you're a buyer, to be able to identify these conditions. Okay, so we want you to read about the different ones. They're not that hard. And then the last chart there is just showing you again, like how to age the horse. Okay, and what that looks like. How many teeth do they have? What does it kind of look like? So reading this about parrot mouth, monkey mouth, and cribbing, then you could answer number 5. Okay. Brings us to week 3. Week 3 of summer school and equine science class. Again, I would like for you to read about the horse's vital signs. You're going to create a poster, and you're going to tell us about the good vital signs, okay? And so you can do things like draw an outline of a horse and then add important phrases from the paragraphs. You can kind of create like a wordle, but it would be like in phrases, if you wanted to. This explanation about vital signs. It talks about temperature, what the horse's temperature should be. Again, I said phrases. I didn't just say like numbers. You should probably tell us like temperature, blah blah blah. You know, um, you know, you could also, or when you're just going to read it and summarize it. Basically, is what you're doing. I do not need a whole nother paragraph written on your poster. I need you to summarize after you read something. So put it in your own words. Respiration rate, capillary refill times. So, like, what kind of circulation are we talking about? Um, Hydration status is being basically saying, like, is the if a horse gets dehydrated, how would you know? What does that look like? And then that tells you about it. Okay, your poster should also have like a little bit of color. I didn't really write that, but that would be helpful. It's cute and it's a little eye catching. If it's a poster, it's supposed to catch people's eye. Week number 4 in summer school equine science. You're going to read about external parasites about a horse, and then you're going to complete the chart. So we have like parasites like horse flies, blot. It's really like blot stomach flies. Didn't really tell you that too much in the article. Stable flies, mites, and all of those. Okay, so it's going to maybe not tell you too much about the life cycle, um, but if you read in there in the article, it will tell you like how to control it a little bit. Life cycle of flies are usually, for the most part, flies are around. They are on the horse. They either live on the horse or they live in the manure of the stalls. And stalls need to be cleaned so that way they don't, they're not there. When flies lay their eggs in the manure, they hatch and they turn into maggots. It could be that it's old feed, those kind of things. And so old feed, manure, just wet soil, like where a horse like urinates, it could be they could be hatched into that. And as the fly goes from the larvae stage or from the egg stage to the larvae stage, then it becomes a fly. And again, it starts all over again. Okay. And if you're reading there, some of these flies live on horses and some of them do not. I also don't want to leave out the mite, but there's also mites and ticks. Okay. And again, if you read, you're going to be able to tell me like how to take care of them and control them. Week 5 of summer school, equine science class. Again, we're going to read an article. This one's internal parasites about a horse. I only gave you 3, and there are multiple ones of these, but these are ones that are pretty common. And you should be able to figure out like what kind of damage it does to the horse, what kind of life cycle that pest has, and this one will really tell you those life cycles, and then how to control it. How am I going to get rid of it in a horse? If you'll read about the 3 different ones, they're here, okay, and then you should be able to answer the chart. So I copied and pasted this from a nice little flyer, but it doesn't want to copy and paste very well. So you might see a few typos or places where you needed to space and those kind of things. I tried to get most, but there are a few that um, that I didn't get, which is fine. But anyway, the last week, okay, um, of the of the summer school is really kind of a general review of the whole semester about air essay. I need a half a page, and if it's typed, it's a half page. If it's written, it's going to be a little more. I'm looking for you to, here's what I'm looking for horse farm. Write a half page persuasive essay on why she should pick you over other candidates to be in charge of her horse farm. Review and think about all the different lessons that we had this year. You could talk about knowing the different breeds of horses that should be in there, and stall care, hoof care, and why hoof care is really important. That could either be, just protecting horses' hoofs with shoeing and things like that. And know that that needs to be done on a regular basis. Again, vital signs, we just went over that, that you know those things. You might add some things to that, that you know about the temperature and you know how to do check for vital signs, um, that you know how to control internal and external parasites. Again, all of those are pretty much a review of all the different. Hope that this is